Fall is the 12th full-length album from Borknagar, Bergen, Norway-based black metal band to start, and one who'd always been twisting away from the norm. Once they got tired of the usual death metal with a previous band, they went into black metal, trying something completely different with a lot of pretty well-known and proven musicians involved. And from there, they've done everything they can to subvert expectations and try to do something new. And that led to, I guess, one of the more prominently known progressive black metal bands, and one that has always worked in elements of heavy metal, of I guess I would say harmonized metal vocals, and more extravagant Nordic metal feeling. It's something they've sort of defined themselves, but they've certainly touched upon avant-garde and dissonant and all kinds of black metal expression along the way, and been influential doing it. I don't know that they need such an introduction in that sense. I think what I usually do when there's this many records to consider for a band is go over what my favorites were and how that informs my taste. You can kind of see why I feel the way that I do about a record like this, which is a little bit, yeah, it's all right. For me, the big deal with this band was always the first three records, and I don't say just the first. I think the way that they progressed beyond the first couple is it's on the mark with a band like Aternus, where they incorporated more progressive ideas. Their songwriting improved with each record, and they began to make different choices that kept the band quite interesting. And to that point, they became a melodic metal band. Not my favorite, but they do have a lot of interest along the way, such as Epic in 2004 and Erd in 2012. I think Erd is the culmination of their work with the fellow from Winterzorg. I think putting those three vocalists in the same room and tasking them with just the biggest album they've ever done. Erd is sort of it set the bar too high, and now they've been trying to top it for over 10 years. And I think that this album kind of shows where they suffer in terms of trying to recreate something that is so over the top, but also moving along with the times and writing newer, fresher songs. So when we get to Fall, that context is valuable, but it doesn't really tell us where they've been for the last several years. Pre-pandemic, they came out with True North, and that was a huge record. It was they're back to a dual vocal setup there with ICS Vortex, and basically that was their biggest record yet. It was their most popular thing in a long time, and people loved it. I didn't even pay attention to it at the time, so this is a direct follow-up to that. After they finally got to tour True North, and now they're moving on to this next cycle with Fall, and the tone is quite different in the album, but the chances they're taking with more tuneful and popular metal ideas are even bolder this time around. So in a lot of ways, we're getting popular music from a very unique band who are following up on one of their most popular records. So manage your expectations so far, and we'll cut into a song, and I'll show you maybe what I like about this record. So the big thing that True North proved back in 2019 was that simple vocal melodies can carry a song when a band has such a distinct sound, and by aiming for simplicity more often on this record, they're going to get more people listening to it, because they've found a formula with songs like Up North and Voices, where when they're anthemic, when they're simple in conveying, again, a vocal melody that is just one or two lines, that's enough. And I don't mean this in a negative way. The lowest common denominator can all pick up on these things very easily and appreciate the distinctly Norwegian feeling of it. And while I appreciate that, it's not my thing at all. And I think as we get to Nordic Anthem, and it's, kind of electronic feeling beats, and it's slow pace, and it's, I love what they're saying in the song. I like the actual message of it. But when I get, it reads a bit like the Voices song that was on the previous record. And for me, that's beyond the pale. It's, I'm not really showing up for a Borknagar record to be delighted by pop metal or melodic metal in that vein. And I haven't since 2012. I kind of had my fill of anything along those lines. lines. So that's my own taste, but if you liked the previous three records, it's a simple note to give. You'll probably like this one. It feels like just another one of those, but I feel like they're giving, by giving Lars Nedlund more of the reins overall in terms of forming those melodies, the band benefits. There are harsher, more aggressive, and faster paced songs on here, but most of them are still cutting out and pausing to make sure that ICS Vortex has a spot to burst out, or the two vocalists have a place to trade off in producing interesting twists and turns along the way. I think that they've really tapped out a lot of that gas tank. I don't think there's a lot left in terms of surprising anyone with what they can do between the two vocalists. And while I appreciate less cooks in the kitchen, with not having three vocalists anymore for two records, I'm not sure that the instrumentals make up the level of interest that I'm looking for. And overall, I'm not sure that this record is, it was exciting beyond the first and the last pieces. There is substance here. The lyrics are actually always very good in Borknagar records. I think that they're always coming from a place that any black metal fan would appreciate. Again, there's a lot to like if you're already a fan. But for me, for a band that is constantly doing something different, moving forward, and looking for something new and exciting to do, this feels like a treading water with a little bit of a pop metal record, hoping to catch a few more ideas off the back of True North. And for me, that felt cynical from the first approach, and maybe that polluted the waters a little bit. But eventually, the character of the album revealed itself a little bit more. I don't know that I'd go back to it for more than a couple of songs, and that's a fine thing with a metal record. There are standouts, and there's value here. But my enjoyment was limited to just a few pockets of big interest and my general fandom of this band for quite a few years. If you're an existing fan, I don't think this will be offensive, but you're probably like me. You might skip some of those songs that are just pop metal. There's no other way I would put that. So think for yourself. Check it out for yourself. The album releases today, the 23rd of February. And go ahead and read my review for more coherent thoughts.